Ward begins his campaign of revenge against Coulson. Probably should have sent some more guys. And Hydra begins its push to open the portal and retrieve the ancient entity from the alien planet. And Secret Warriors are go. All this on this week's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 3, Episode 9. Closure. Okay, first off, sorry I'm a little late this week. Just busy. I try to do this as quickly as I can right after the show. Sometimes delays happen. Thank you for your patience. Also, spoilers ahead, just so you've been warned. All right, so we're beginning our big push for the big mid-season finale that's next week. But it all starts this week, and it starts off with a bang. Literally a bang, as Ward takes out Rosalind with an extremely long-range sniper shot, just as she and Coulson are sitting down for a nice romantic dinner. Burgers and wines. Very nice. And it's a shame to see Rosalind go. I mean, we just found out that she was unwittingly working with Hydra, was willing to actually go back into the ATCU, try and dig up some dirt on Gideon Mack, try and find out what Hydra is really going after. But she doesn't give a shot. She gets taken out and dies bleeding in Coulson's arms. Oh, and also, just real quick, great sniper shot from Ward. Obviously, he felt good doing that, as he told Mack later on. But that was a really long distance. The weapon caliber that you need in order to get that distance would probably cause a lot more damage than just a hole in Rosalind's neck. But this is ABC TV. They can't have her head being blown off on screen, and that would sort of remove some of the moment for Coulson. So we understand that. And Ward just calls him up just to listen to the anguish in his voice. I mean, Ward at this point really has crossed the line. Any hope or wish that there might be some redemption arc down the line, that's all gone. That's all gone. He's too far gone. Even Daisy says later on during the interview sequence with Coulson that she could never forgive Ward for what he has done. He has gone too far. So he calls up Coulson, just lets him go out, and then sends in a couple of Hydra guys. I mean, really, a handful of guys one at a time with Coulson after you've just taken out Rosalind? Ward should know better. And it was a great scene with Coulson just taking guys out, improvising explosives, and I loved his call for help. He does the little call for help, and who comes but Mack. Just Mack, all by himself, and that's really all that you need. That hand cannon, it was just this beautiful little sequence. So now we've got Coulson, and Coulson is just filled with rage. He is driven by emotion. He is a feral agent at this point, and he will do whatever it takes. Hunter gets a nice little brunt of that as soon as Coulson gets back, and that's understandable. Hunter was supposed to take out Ward. That was his order, and he, while wounding Ward, wasn't able to finish it, but that was the whole Andrew Lash thing that was going on at the time, so you can't totally blame him. But what's really nice is they get to a good interview sequence with the original teammates. Coulson wants to find out what do they remember from Ward, what information can he pull out in order to help get to him. And it's really a nice sequence to see Gemma and Fitz and Daisy kind of reflecting back to the Ward that we knew back in season 1, but seeing it through the filter of everything that he has done since then. Daisy recognizing the connection that two damaged individuals can have, him as a result of domestic violence growing up and her as being an orphan, and that bond that they have. She's able to understand him, but again, not forgive him. He's gone too far, and she is firmly aware of that. And then you have Fitz, who is reflecting back to the buddiness, the chumminess, even the protectiveness that Ward was showing towards him. And while Fitz at the time had thought that was friendship, he knows now that he himself, Fitz, was just a substitute for Ward. Fitz was taking the place of someone that Ward could protect and be friends with. Kind of like a younger brother. which is exactly what this all leads to, is our introduction of Thomas. We've only heard Thomas talked about in the past couple of seasons. This is the first time we actually get to meet him. And he's been hiding out for the past 15 years, currently as a bank manager, just to avoid Ward. And then we get to find out that little further backstory in with him. It basically comes down to the story of the well that we heard back in season 1 was basically true. Everything that happened before that, Ward was very honest with, of the domestic violence, of his parents going after him, of Christian, his older brother, going after him. Up into the well sequence, Ward was very protective of his brother, and after that, when Christian forced Ward to put Thomas into the well and not help him, but just stare at him as Thomas was almost drowning down in there, really was the flip change for Ward. From there, he became super protective and willing to do anything to watch out for Thomas. And that scared Thomas, which is why he has been out on the run. And this is something that even Daisy hits on back with her conversation again with Coulson. Noticing that it's not that Ward is not emotionless. It's quite the opposite. And this has often happened for people that have those side of violent reactions, is they actually feel too much. He gets too much in. He so much wants to protect and wants to be seen as the hero, and not being able to do that, he has flipped and moved to the other direction. And the conversation between Thomas and Ward really kind of brings that up. You can really sense that feeling of protectiveness for Thomas and anger of that being pushed off. And so when Coulson picks up the phone and just says, we're done, that just throws Ward for a loop and really gets him is in line to take out Coulson. Now, and that's where Coulson is headed off to with Bobby and Hunter. Meanwhile, we've got back at base Mack being put in charge by Coulson with a nice little, step it up speech. That was great, and it's good to see Mack step into this character, into this role. He's very good at communicating things and not holding back quite as many secrets as Coulson was. And then we've got Fitz and Simmons, who's met up with Banks, who wants revenge for Roz, and they are trying to research into the portal. What Banks lets us know is that he and Roz met Gideon Malik back in the early 2000s during the NASA mission. Now, NASA wasn't actually running the mission that sent Will to the planet. That was actually an independent contractor run by Gideon Malik, but going through NASA. So what they do is go back to the warehouse where these experiments were done, where the portal shift was done, according to Banks, see if they can find out any more information. Of course, Banks gets taken out. Sorry, that's the end of the ATCU for us. Sort of sorry to see him go. And Fitz and Simmons are captured and brought in to Hydra. And really a couple of nice sequences also done here. The torture of Gemma, I thought, was great, keeping that all off screen as an audience, again, just giving us the hints, and then we get to experience that from Fitz's point of view, where we're just hearing her screams and pain, and knowing he can't hold out too long. He is going to give in. He can't let that happen to Gemma. And I think there's a certain willingness for him to go through the portal anyway. There was that conversation that he had with Gemma while they were at the base just before Banks got killed. And Gemma is saying, we can't go and get Will. It's too dangerous. This is serving right into the hands of Hydra. Where Fitz is not. Fitz feels an obligation to Will because he helped Gemma. And I think because Fitz has accepted the kind of cursed relationship between him and Gemma, that it's never actually going to happen, that he wants to do whatever it is that he can in order to make her happy. I mean, really, that's what love is. You do what you can, you do what you got to do in order to make the other person happy. If you're involved, great. If you're not, that doesn't really change things. I also think that he's got a plan of some sort. I mean, he said, well, I'll bring Will back, but I'll leave the creature on the planet. I don't know how he's going to do that, but that is his particular plan. And actually getting to the whole portal incident, okay, Gideon Malik talks about the fact that they can open the portal at any time. They just need room with the right sound and vibrations and boom, that they can open up the portal. But they've never been able to bring anyone back. And that's sort of where my questions kind of come in. And specifically this entity, because the entity's been there for like 1,000 years. And the portal normally opens up according to certain things that are happening on the planet, positions of the planets that are around it, and that's what Gemma was doing with that whole research with the computer back in 4,722 hours. But 1,000 years is a long time, and I know it opens up at random places on the planet, but it is trackable, and I would think that at some point this creature would know. I mean, even in the scene where she and Will were trying to get to the portal first, and the entity basically opened up that chasm to prevent them from going. I get that, preventing them from going back, but why doesn't it go back? It seems to know where the portal's going to be. So is there some additional thing that has to happen? When Fitz pulled Gemma back out, it exploded the portal and the monolith was destroyed. Is that a result of bringing someone back? Is it just the vibrations that Daisy had to use in order to keep it open, and that was just sort of a build-up and reaction off of that? I don't know. I'm hoping that coming in through next week's finale we'll get a little bit more information, but perhaps getting the entity back is a bit more complicated than just walking through the portal. So we have Coulson, Bobby, and Hunter heading towards England, heading towards the castle to try and stop Hydra from opening up the portal. But they've already talked to Ward. Ward knows that they are coming, and back at base they understand, Mack and everyone understands that's a death wish. I mean, trying to fly in, stealth's not going to work at a Hydra base, a heavily fortified Hydra base when they expect you to come. That's going to be death for Coulson and his team. So Mack only has one choice. Time to call in the Avengers. Okay, wait, sorry, it's TV, we can't do that. Time to call in the Junior Avengers. Yes, which means, of course, it's time to bring in the Secret Warriors, led by Daisy, and right now it's a small team. It's just Joey and Lincoln. But 3 Inhumans going in against a Hydra base with S.H.I.E.L.D's backing. That is going to be an effective force. They are untested, they're a little scared, and it was really nice that Mack turned around and used kind of Coulson's speech to Mack, and Mack used that for the Inhumans, the new Secret Warriors team. Hey, it's time to step up and do what you gotta do. Just a really nice turnaround, and I think great character work with Mack. So they're trying to send it, but they're not going to be there in time. Coulsons and Bobby and Hunter, they're over with a Quinjet. They're under fire. The portal's already opened up. People are going through. They don't have time to land. Coulson feels only one choice. Grab a parachute and just dive right in, and like a boss, just swoops to the ceiling and shoots through the portal just before it closes. I mean, it was awesome to see. Of course, his landing was a little rough. He's got a little head injury. Hopefully he's going to recover back from that. But still, very tough, very nice maneuvering. Again, my only criticism with that is that there should have been an establishment shot that the roof was open. I mean, I went back and I rewatched it, and I don't remember seeing any shot that showed that the room with the portal in had a giant hole in the ceiling, that it was all opened. I know it was an old castle, but that doesn't mean everything's destroyed. So while it was very cool to see, just catching that one shot from above where he swoops down and there's the open ceiling and he shoots down. I mean, it's a great sequence, but kind of like, well, that's awful convenient. That was open. That could have changed the whole feeling getting down there. And that is where the episode ends. We've got Fitz with Ward and Hydra Group on the planet with Coulson not far behind, albeit currently unconscious. And then we have the Secret Warriors getting ready to head to England and back up Coulson's team. see if they can get them back safely. It's going to be really exciting. There's been a big push towards this season finale, mid-season finale, and I am so looking forward to it. Hopefully getting, like I said, a few more answers about the alien planet and the entity and what is going on with trying to get it back. And what Fitz's plans. I think he's got something up his sleeve. I can't wait to see what that is. Now, so next week is the mid-season finale, and then they break until March. I don't know if anybody saw the recent notice. Agent Carter was supposed to come in with a 2-hour premiere on January 5th. That is being pushed 2 weeks to the 19th. Apparently on the 12th is the State of the Union address, and ABC would rather do a straight run with Agent Carter than do a 2-hour premiere and then break the next week and then pick it back up. So they're going to wait 2 weeks, start it on the 19th, and then do a straight shot from then, and then probably go directly into Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. because that's going to push their schedule a little bit. Hopefully what that means is that we'll just get the final 12 episodes or so of S.H.I.E.L.D. just straight out the gate right away up to the end. Curious, obviously, how that's going to run into Civil War, which is coming out in May. So usually there is some sort of connection. Really looking forward to that, and that's probably, again, going to bring in a lot more of the Secret Warriors in on that end. So we will just have to wait and see all of that happen. Please press like if you enjoyed what I had to say. Feel free to subscribe. I will try and speak clear English. Comments in the section below, always appreciated. And you can catch me on Twitter. I'm at Darren Jakes. Until then, I am out of here. I will see you guys next week. Take it easy. Bye-bye.